Assassin's Creed Odyssey Episode 3 Bloodline is a good conclusion to the episodic series Legacy of Blade. It does a standard job of showcasing why this franchise is important to the entire series while bridging Alexios and Cassandra to the Assassin's Creed universe, something that I felt was a little lackluster in the core campaign's ending. But for the most part, Episode 3 still follows from the same issues of Episode 1 and 2 with mediocre missions and a subpar structure. It's not that great, and for those who've just hopped into Assassin's Creed Odyssey without experiencing the previous games, will most likely be confused of how this DLC campaign ends. Episode 3 takes place after the events of Episode 2, with Alexios or Cassandra trying to lead a peaceful life following the events of Episode 2 with their new love interest and child. Unfortunately, as many predicted, this doesn't last long. The Order attacks, kills your love interest, and kidnaps your child. What begins is your warpath in order to rescue your child and kill the remaining members of the Order. The story is a service to the Assassin's Creed franchise, and not really much for newcomers. It connects the entire legacy of Cassandra and Alexios to the rest of the games, which to me was left out in the previous main campaign, but it does well to showcase why Alexios and Cassandra's bloodline is so important to the rest of the franchise, which I understand, but at the same time, newcomers who just joined Assassin's Creed now with Odyssey may feel a little bewildered or confused with the ending. So if you just started Assassin's Creed Odyssey right now and finished the campaign and you're still wondering what Legacy of Blade is going to offer, you might want to play through or do a little more research into the Assassin's Creed franchise before you dive into Legacy of Blade. Of course, Legacy of Blade Episode 3 suffers from the same problems as the previous episodes. Everything is bare bones, as you can imagine. The objectives don't really diverge from the core kill objective, kill key target, and move on to the next. There's very little variety here or exciting elements. The biggest, most exciting elements do come in the way of the boss battles, which are pretty good, but at the same time I do feel like they're unfair. You see, enemies can lay bombs out or call in friendly arrows, but for some reason they're immune to those attacks when they walk over the area of effect, which I find completely upsetting and unfair. If you shoot an arrow and it's about to explode, if the enemy's in the circle, they should get harmed. But of course, magic powers or friendly fire, whatever, they're immune to damage. There's also some endgame content in the way that it gives you a very, very powerful sword that if players who are dedicated to the live service model of Assassin's Creed Odyssey will find a lot of use for. And there's of course killing the Order of the Ancient members, which is the same as you might expect. You find clues, you find their location, then you murder them. It does add an additional hour of content depending on your skill level to the hour-and-a-half main campaign. But eventually, I was not satisfied with Legacy of Blade. It just offered more of the same of what I expected from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. In addition, it didn't really provide anything substantial. Yes, the new Blade was awesome, but as someone like myself who are just going to stop playing after completing the Legacy of Blade campaign until the next DLC expansion launches, not really going to find much value in this, as I did with the flame cannons from Episode 2. Episode 3, Bloodlines, is a satisfying ending to this three-part episode. It does connect the entire series to the baseline Assassin's Creed franchise, and will most likely appease those who have been playing the series for a long time like myself. But for newcomers, it's most likely a miss. It introduces a few cool elements, such as the new blade that you get, and if you played Episode 2, a new fire cannon for your ship. But for the most part, this DLC is not that big of a deal, and if you missed out on it, you're probably better off just waiting until the next DLC expansion to see if that offers anything more substantial.